time Robbie coming? That's me.
Yeah, this is looking like a dead end.
And that's me again, on a canal going nowhere. And this is my narrowboat home, the Naughty Lass. For a decade, I've been exploring our rivers and canals, filming my adventures as I go.
This is the wildest mooring I've ever had.
And things don't always go to plan.
I can barely see where my boat is from where I've stuck the mooring pin in.
This time I'm taking on the River Thames. I begin my journey in Oxford. I'll moor up in Abingdon before taking some twists and turns to Goring. My destination is Reading in Berkshire. It's about 39 miles in all. There'll be plenty to see. So, jump on board for my Canal Boat Diaries.
Been moored in Oxford about a week and a half. A lot of exploring, walking around, meeting locals, and also getting a major upgrade sorted for my boat. You might spot it later on in some shots, and I'll definitely tell you more about it a bit later. But for now, I've got a little job to do before I set off, because I need to smarten up my act, because where I'm going starts to get a little bit posh. So let's sort this out. What's happening here is a little ecosystem is taking place on the button fender. That's the bumper at the back of my boat at the stern. And there's a couple of weeds. They're starting to take over a little bit, so I'm going to pluck them out today, tidy it all up, and become a little bit more respectable. Hopefully, that's the idea anyway. Right, well that's that done. I've got to put my tiller arm on. And then I can get cranking. Yeah.
I always store this tiller arm inside for safekeeping, as without it, I wouldn't be able to steer very easily.
Right, just as soon as I've set off, I'm almost at my first lock of the day. There's going to be, I think, 3 of them. And the destination today is Abingdon. Lovely market town that's got the river running right next to it. It looks beautiful, so I can't wait to show you that. And also the weather's looking good this week. We're coming to the end of the summer now, but yeah, we're getting some nice sunny days to round it off.
I'm navigating the non-tidal River Thames. Along its course are 45 locks like this one. Most people associate this river with London, but it starts in Gloucestershire and runs through numerous English counties. At 215 miles, it's the second longest river in the UK, after the Severn.
When I first set out almost 10 years ago on the Naughty Lass, my first journey, I had no idea that I'd still be on the boat 10 years later. Didn't have any concrete plans of what I was going to do or where I was going to go. I just wanted to explore my own country and get to know it a bit more.
And that's exactly what I've done. I've visited numerous towns on our inland waterways, and there's always so much to discover. Like Folly Bridge, where Alice's adventures in Wonderland all began. as a story told on a boating trip. But my boat, well, that's not changed much over the years. However, there has been a recent makeover. A job I had quite a bit of help with just last week.
Well, I think now's as good a time as any to tell you about my new windows. It's something that I've just been meaning to get done for many years, but it's just not happened. But finally, I've managed to find a boatyard that could host me and also get a windows company to come down and fit them for me, because it is a huge job. It's the morning of the window fitting and I'm feeling a little bit anxious, as you would do. Well, the work started and there's a fair bit of banging because there's a lot of old fittings and some of them just won't unscrew, or they're rivets that need to just be hammered out. Oh god, right, I think I'm gonna get off the boat, because otherwise, yeah, this is not gonna be good for my anxiety. My windows had pretty much reached the end of their life. They were cracked in places, one of them was completely smashed. They were leaking around the sills, there was lots of condensation problems and even ice on the inside in winter. So I thought, you know what, it's time to do something about it. This window in particular, I knew it would be a problem because I fitted it myself. And it has already got a couple of cracks in it, and now there's a few more as we're getting it out. It was a massive job that took quite a lot of organisation in terms of logistics. I had to find somewhere where I could allow parking for the team that were coming down to fit them. I needed power for their power tools and the vacuum cleaner at the end, because it's a messy job. The first window has gone in and it's the first time I've seen it in place. It's looking mint. I'm well happy.
These double glazed windows cost me the best part of 10 grand. The Naughty Lass itself originally cost 22,000, so it's a big investment and a big upgrade. Therefore, I'm hoping they'll keep me much warmer in winter.
It is amazing how quickly these guys are working on this. It has taken us a day already to do one side, but there are various complications. But it's just astounding how quickly this transformation is taking place. Right, see you guys. Yeah, cheers. You know. Well, that's it. I've got new windows. I'm almost speechless. It's been a long time coming, this. I can't tell you how fast they were and how much of a difference they've made to my boat. They've put in exactly what I wanted. So yeah, very, very happy.
I'm continuing downstream on the Thames with my posh new windows. And next to this river lock, there's something quite handy for boats a lot smaller than mine.
While I'm going through this lock, I'm just going to show you this little bypass here that's built for rowing boats and punts. They would just come here under this beautiful stone bridge, up onto these rollers, few here, and then there's even more on the downslope. There's not much change in terms of the level of the river here, but this allows smaller craft to carry on their journey without having to go through the lock. pretty neat, and they look like they're too old to work, but they still spin.
It's not long before the Thames takes me past a notorious weir, known locally as the Sandford Lasher. Its strong currents have claimed the lives of numerous swimmers, and one of them was Michael Llewellyn Davies, who drowned here back in 1921. He was the foster son of J.M. Barrie, author of Peter Pan. And it's widely believed Michael was the inspiration behind The Boy Who Wouldn't Grow Up. Around here, I'm sharing the river with a variety of vessels. This boat is for day trippers on the Thames, and maybe it's keeping to a strict timetable, as off it goes.
Just coming up to Abingdon Lock, and pretty soon I will be looking for a mooring. Just somewhere to stay overnight, that will do me.
I'm making my way along the River Thames, and I've reached Abingdon in Oxfordshire.
Plenty of English towns have strange traditions, and Abingdon is one of them. They've got this bum throwing thing they do. Apparently every time, perhaps a royal occasion, something to celebrate, someone will stand at the top of this building, the county hall, and chuck bums down, and people will try and catch them, and whether they take them home, eat them, varnish them is another option apparently, is up to them. Definitely sounds strange, but also a lot of fun. I wouldn't mind giving that a go. Abingdon's one of those places where you just feel like you want to stay a bit longer. And quite a few moorings available, so it definitely seemed like a place that accommodates passing boaters. And I guess, like any market town, they're actually quite a welcoming community as well. Well, I've had a nice night here, moored across from the weir that's next to the lock. But before I get started today, I need to check how much fuel I've got. So I'm going to use this old school meter rule that I think was my dad's or my mum's. It's a bit primitive doing it this way, I know, but I can see the top of my tank and the level at which the fuel's got to. So I've used about a quarter of a tank in the last month, which has got me through about 100 miles, so I don't think that's too bad. Anyway, I've got a few more miles to go, and yeah, it's time to set off. Here we go. Amazing medieval bridge that. Well, there's two bridges connecting what's known as Nag's Head Island, and there have been some spooky stories about an apparition of a woman, her head and arms in the water. But also there is a pub on the island, so that might explain the sightings.
You know me, I can't resist exploring a new waterway. And this morning I've got a couple of detours. The first is to investigate this short canal arm.
It's going to be a tricky turning. I've got to account for the flow and also the wind. So it is a little bit breezy. I don't know if I can go in here and turn round and come back out again. So many unknowns, but that's what exploration's all about.
If I'm honest, there's not much to see now. But the Wilts and Berks was once an important trade route, carrying coal from mines in Somerset until it closed in 1914. Much of the canal's been filled in. However, volunteers have been working to restore it. Like this short section that links to the River Thames.
It's saying there's 70 miles planned for this canal to connect it to the Kennet and Avon. But as you can see, yeah, there's not much that I can explore. Not yet, anyway. Alright, so that little diversion didn't quite work, but I've turned the boat round now and I'm headed on my way to another location that I've been told is past this danger sign. I'm going to go past this rather ominous looking sign and find a cafe boat, which is apparently up this way.
Despite the sign, I am allowed to travel this way. But it's another short detour and I'll need to double back. But for coffee and cake, it's got to be worth it.
There it is. Hi there. It's alright to tie alongside. Brilliant.
The icebergs painted on the side of Anna's narrowboat cafe are a nod to her relative, Sir Ernest Shackleton, the Antarctic explorer, whose boat Endurance became trapped in pack ice back in 1914.
Hi Anna.
Hello.
You're right to come aboard.
Of course.
Right.
Welcome.
Just come through here. This is so cool. So Anna, this is your home as well as a cafe boat, is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
Now tell me about the name of the boat.
Well, it's called Endurance because my family and I were all sort of distantly related to Shackleton. We all got Shackleton names.
You're related to Ernest Shackleton?
Yes, so
That's
I just thought it'd be
amazing,
funny. So initially I wanted to call it Endurance 2 and I was going to paint a narrowboat crushed in ice on the side.
I wonder what he would think of that.
Hopefully Scott, would have had a sense of humour. I think he must have done.
I think
to
so.
have got
to
through
keep
what he did.
everyone motivated and going through such tough times.
Yeah.
And they hear that he was always looking out for people, making sure they have something hot to eat or drink. So you're sort of carrying on that legacy.
In a very small way,
I think so, yeah. I've obviously had a very long and hard voyage to get here from Abingdon. And I'm spied you've got some cake. So would it be alright to get a coffee and a cake?
Absolutely it would.
Thank you.
And courgette and lime loaf.
Oh wow, look at that. Yes, please. Cheers, thank you.
With a caffeine hit and a sugar rush, I'm moving on and heading to tonight's mooring. I'm getting back on track, as Anna's cafe boat is moored on an old meander, which was once used by working boats. Today, river traffic takes a different direction along a man-made cutting. At the end of it, there's a river lock I need to navigate, and it's a bit busy.
sharing the lock, and we've got 3 in this one, which is not normal for me. The most I normally deal with is just another one, just 2 boats. I've let the other boats go first. That was quite a lot of pressure, having to be the lock keeper for everyone.
Big river locks can be a little bit intimidating. They are different in terms of where they're operated. Most of them are electric. They can feel massive when you go in, and where some of the locks used to be manned, now they're not so much. So you're doing a lot of it yourself, and that is a big challenge too.
Oh, this is my mooring. I better concentrate because I need to stop before the weir. This is lush, end of a long and windy day. And I'm just sat outside with a bowl of pasta that I've made. And life's good.
After a peaceful evening at a cracking mooring, there's a bump back to reality. Got a little bit of a catastrophe going on here. Oh no, that's bad. I was just reaching to get a bowl for my cereal this morning, and a lot of water has collected in the bowl I was about to take. I think, yeah, I remember last night I sort of leant against the worktop here and shifted it a bit too much.
Some mornings just don't go to plan. It looked like the sink had come out of alignment and the plug hole, yeah, it was just going to let any sort of water just drip straight down. It looks like the screw's just completely sheared off. I can't find the right size in my box of bits, but I have looked on the map and it says that there's a hardware shop where I'm heading tonight. So if I can get there early, that'd be great. Hopefully I can pop in and try and get a match for this bolt, but for the time being I'm going to be using a washing up bowl and trying to remember not to empty that down the plug hole. Right, my first manoeuvre of the day is to try and get away from this weir. Obviously I'm facing the wrong way, so I've got to get the nose round somehow and get back out past the danger signs, just around the other side for the lock. The gates are already open, so I better get a move on.
Today the flow on the Thames isn't that strong, but I'm taking no chances, and manoeuvring the Naughty Lass using my ropes gives me greater control, as I can always tie up and secure the boat if it gets too close to the weir.
Right, I've got that turned around. Now I've got to make a swift getaway and get into the lock before another boat does.
From here in Little Wittenham, I've got about 21 miles to go. I'm going to moor up in Goring in Oxfordshire before reaching my destination, the town of Reading.
This boat was bought after seeing a couple of other boats, so I didn't see too many until I found this one, so I was quite lucky on that front. I saw the boat and I just thought, yes, just go for it. There was hardly any hesitation. That partly might have been because I was living at home with mum and dad. I just wanted to get out of there. But I think I've been really lucky with this boat. There have been some quirky things about it that needed a lot of work, but I'm happy and I'm still afloat almost 10 years later.
I've seen some sights over the last decade and travelled thousands of miles by water.
The footbridge, I'm just going under here. It doesn't look much, does it? But this was the site of the World Poo Sticks Championships. You know about poo sticks? If you've read Winnie the Pooh, you will know about it. Basically dropping a stick one side and then waiting for it to get to the other side.
The championships were held here from the 1980s, but became so popular they moved to a bigger site, with players coming from around the world.
In terms of distance today, I've got about 11 miles and a couple of locks thrown in. So I should make good progress. As I'm going with the flow, I can open her out a bit with the engine. The speed limit on canals is 4 miles per hour. On rivers it's a little bit different. You can get up to 6 miles per hour, but being that that is my boat's top speed anyway, there's no chance of me breaking any laws on the river. But I just generally go with, you know, if you're passing other boats, slow down to your slower speed, or if you're making an excessive amount of wash that will damage the banks, then slow down. So it's a bit common sense, really. Look at that. I wonder what that is. It looks like one of the pillboxes that you see at the side of the canal and river sometimes. There's also a memorial the way it's painted.
There's plenty to see on this stretch, and the bridges come in all sorts of shapes and sizes. This one is known locally as Four Arches.
Well, this is an impressive looking bridge. And I've just got a train going past, which I always love to see when I'm going through any sort of canal or river bridge. But this one, it's not just one, it's two built parallel. So the one I'm going underneath was newer. It was built 60 years after the original, which is this one here. And this was designed by one of Britain's civil engineering superstars, Isambard Kingdom Brunel. And it's just amazing it's still being used today.
During the 1890s, the second bridge was built parallel to the original structure, allowing the railway to be expanded and more trains to cross.
Now, get to go through this lock. There's a lockkeeper on hand. I'm going to chat to him about where I can moor in Goring. All right, mate. Yeah, not so bad. Yeah, I need to speak to you about a mooring in a bit.
No,
yeah.
You need a hand with the rope?
Yes, please.
Good afternoon. Where are you heading to today?
Goring, hopefully.
The moorings at Goring, I've heard, are full up. Due to it being such a popular mooring site, they do tend to fill up quite early at the minute.
Right, okay, I was hoping to get there, basically, moor up there and go to a hardware shop.
Oh yes, no, the hardware shop is in the village. There are some moorings below the lock on the right hand side. They're wild moorings, so you'd have to put your pins in, but they should suit you, and it's only a 15-minute walk down to Goring from here.
That's not too bad. And is that going to cost me an overnight fee?
No, that's free.
Oh, that's all right then. Cheers. I really appreciate it.
No problem.
With no moorings in Goring, my plan to visit the hardware store to mend my sink will have to wait until tomorrow. And as for this spot, it does look a bit wild, doesn't it?
Well, this is it. Some moorings need a little bit more work to actually secure your boat. Some of them, it's perfect. You just turn up, put the ropes through rings or around bollards. But other times, you really struggle. I feel like I'm hacking my way through the Amazon rainforest. Except this, in this case, it's just a mooring. And I can't be choosy about this one because of all the rest of them being booked up. I didn't realise you had to book in advance. Well, that was a shoddy mooring, wasn't it? But at least it was peaceful and I got a good night's sleep. And now I'm ready to set off on a new day, exploring the River Thames and hopefully being able to stop at the place that I was meant to last night at Goring. I do need to stop there, get a new part for my sink and then head on the journey. Some jobs on the boat, I have to call someone else to sort it out, but other things, you just got to get on with yourself. When I first began living on this boat, about 10 years ago, I would not have had much of a clue, I think. I wasn't very good with DIY, but now I've got a lot more confidence.
I'm tying up here and taking a short walk into the village to the hardware store, which is meant to be a bit of an Aladdin's cave for DIY parts.
What I'm hoping is that I can show them my bag of bits here from my sink and hopefully they'll be able to give the right part to fix it. Morning. I've got something I'm hoping to get a direct replacement for, but
Okay.
do you want to have a look at that? So that's basically sheared off and it's part of my sink. I love going in hardware stores where it's in a village or a town and they somehow seem to have everything. At first we couldn't find the right size. It was all metric and my boat, a lot of it is imperial or British standard. Eventually we looked underneath the counter and found exactly the right size.
Yeah, that's the one. Nice, problem solved.
Brilliant.
Oh, it's 12 pence.
12
please.
pence in cash, there we go.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Bye. Well, that's probably the best result I've had out of a hardware shop and definitely the cheapest as well. 12p. And hopefully that will solve all of my problems. Well, solve my sink problem.
With the new part purchased, I'm moving on. And I'll fix the sink a little later.
Well, that all worked out, didn't it? Last night couldn't get a mooring if I tried, but today seemed like there's loads of space. Arrived just at the right time, and I also got to the hardware shop to get the part that I needed for my sink. So I'm all sorted. I'm just gonna leave this area, carry on down the River Thames.
As I enter Pangbourne, this black and white boathouse undergoing some work has a connection to rock history. It's the former home of the legendary guitarist Jimmy Page, and it's reported locally this could well have been the birthplace of one of the world's most famous bands.
Led Zeppelin, they have sold between 200 and 300 million albums. And I have pleasure of saying that I saw them play at the O2 in London without John Bonham, unfortunately. But yeah, some of their hits, obviously Whole Lot of Love, Stairway to Heaven, and one of my faves, Ramble On, which if I'm not careful, I will do. I need to stop now and concentrate on the lock ahead of me.
Locks are sometimes places that attract big crowds of onlookers. Remember, we call them gongoozlers on the waterways. However, this one is a rather quiet affair, as it's thought to be the only lock on the Thames that's inaccessible to the public. Unless you're on a boat, of course.
Right, it's getting on for about 3 p.m. I don't want to get caught out like I did yesterday, and also I need some time to get on with fixing my sink. I've looked at my map and there's some moorings just coming up. Let's just see, because it may be too shallow. Oof, yeah, too shallow to even get near, so I'll have to try somewhere else.
It seems decent moorings are few and far between on this stretch, and I've ended up on a lock landing. However, the lock keeper has said I'm okay to stay here for a night, as long as I leave early and free up the space, which gives me a bit of time to get on with things.
Before I settle down tonight, I am going to tackle this DIY job of fixing the sink. I just need to cut the screw to the right length and yeah, just assemble it all back together. I would have thought one replacement screw could cause this much work, but then that's the thing, one job generally leads to another on a boat. Right, moment of truth, let's see if there's any leaks. Well, I'm not seeing any leaks, so it's worked. Yes. I'm up pretty early this morning. It's about 5:30. I can hear the cows mooing and the crows as they fly overhead. I'm seeing the mist off the water, so I just thought I'd show you this special moment that not many people get to see, really. Only people with insomnia like myself. But I'm quite excited to get started today. Head on into Reading and finish the journey.
And next to my mooring, there's some more music history.
The lock that I'm coming into here is parallel to the water mill that's very famous if you know your rock album covers. just in case I can't get the copyright clearance. The cover of Black Sabbath self-titled album. The picture was taken of this mill, put on the album, and a mysterious figure of a woman standing in the foreground. Amazingly, the Mapledurham watermill is actually working at the moment. They've got hydroelectric power generated from an Archimedes screw. I just think that's incredible use of a building that dates back to the 15th century.
Driven by around 1,800 gallons of water a second, this micro power station generates enough electricity for 140 homes. As I get closer to my destination of Reading, next to the river is the Great Western Main Line that runs westward from London Paddington to Bristol Temple Meads.
It does seem quite posh on these parts of the Thames, where you're going past boat houses and mansions and motor yachts. But there is actually quite a mixture of people. Yeah, there's people like me, liveaboards, and then there's all sorts of little tiny canoes and everything going each way, and just families enjoying holidays. And I don't know what it would be like in the winter, but in summer there's a lot of activity going on.
It's been a fascinating journey along the river, and here I am in Reading in Berkshire.
Right, I'm just coming to the end of my adventure now. Well, this little trip. It's been about 39 miles, 12 locks, and I've seen all manner of different types of boats and moored up in some really peaceful locations, albeit one which was a real struggle to get into. I've had my windows replaced, and I've ticked off some pretty cool music history along the way. Now I'm just about to arrive at my mooring in Reading, where I get to rest up and also do a lot of other stuff that I need to do before my next adventure.